contagious, and really every one of you who stands up for Julian is courageous. And we've watched Julian be arbitrarily detained for a decade now, and we're watching him going through this extradition hearing, and we see how his health has declined. We see he's being in a maximum security prison, no charge, no sentence, and we're watching this in real time as the rule of law falls apart. And I just want to thank you all for being here.
Hello? This is not working. Julian Assange has been detained for nearly 3,370 days from the time that he went into the Ecuadorian embassy to where he now stands at Belmarsh prison. Chelsea Manning has spent nearly 77% of her adult life incarcerated.
Auxiliary mode.
For giving us information that we needed. For allowing us to understand, some of us for the very first time, what our government does in our name with our money. The fact that a foreign publisher is being charged under the Espionage Act without being granted First Amendment protections tells you what kind of a cartoon we live in, where Jeremy Hammond and Chelsea Manning are in the exact same detention center. Julian Assange is in Belmarsh prison, yet none of the people who were in the helicopter that murdered civilians in the collateral murder video have been charged with a single crime. We are here to demand that Julian Assange be released immediately from Belmarsh prison, but more than that, we are here to demand that as content creators, as citizens, as people who are journalists, that we are able to print the truth without being threatened with 175 years in prison. So thank you guys for coming out. We are going to talk for a little while longer, then we're going to march to the Trump Hotel, and then we're going to wind up in front of the Department of Justice. We hope that you will come with us for that. And I would like to pass this over to Andrew.
So I'm going to be reading the introduction to Cypherpunks. It's one of the series that Julian did on RT, I believe, or Sputnik, that then got turned into a literary version. And this opening is one of the most important things, I think, that as a society we have to come to understand. The world is not slipping, but galloping into a new transnational dystopia. This development has not been properly recognized outside of national security circles. It has been hidden by secrecy, complexity, and scale. The internet, our greatest tool of emancipation, has been transformed into the most dangerous facilitator of totalitarianism we have ever seen. The internet is a threat to human civilization. These transformations come about silently because those who know what is going on work in the global surveillance industry and have no incentives to speak out. Left to its own trajectory, within a few years, global civilization will be a postmodern surveillance dystopia, from which all escape, but for the most skilled individuals, is all but impossible. In fact, we may already be here. While many writers have considered the internet means for global civilization, they are wrong. They are wrong because they do not have a sense of perspective that direct experience brings. They are wrong because they have never met the enemy. No description of the world survives first contact with the enemy. We have met the enemy. Over the past 6 years, WikiLeaks has had conflicts with nearly every major power. We know the new surveillance state from an insider's perspective because we have plundered its secrets. We know from a combatant's perspective because we have had to protect our people, our finances, and our sources from it. We know from a global perspective because we have people, assets, and information in nearly every country in the world. We know it from the perspective of time because we have been fighting this phenomenon for years, and it has doubled in speed again and again. It is an invasive parasite growing fat off of societies that merge with the internet. It's rolling over the planet, infecting all states and people before it. What is to be done? Once upon a time, in a place that was neither here nor there, we, the constructors and citizens of the young internet, discussed the future of the world. We saw the relationships between all people would be mediated by our new world and the nature of states, which are defined by how people exchange information, economic values, and force also change. We saw the merger between existing state structures and the internet created an opening to change the nature of states. First, recall the states are a system which uses coercive force. Factions within the state may compete for support, leading to a democratic service phenomenon. But the underpinnings of the state are a systematic application and avoidance of violence. Land ownership, property, rent, dividends, taxation, court fines, censorship, copyrights, and trademarks are all enforced by threats of applications of state violence. Most of the time, we are not even aware of how close to violence we are, because we all grant concessions to avoid it. Like sailors smelling the breeze, we rarely contemplate how our surface world is propped up from the waves below in the darkness. In a new space of the internet that would be the mediator for this coercive force, does it make sense to ask this question? In this otherworldly space, this seemingly platonic realm of ideas and information could be the notion for coercive force, the force that could modify historical records, tap phones, separate people, transform complexity into rubble, erect walls, and occupy an army. The platonic nature of the internet, ideas, and information flows is debased in the physical origins. The foundations of fiber optic cable lines stretch across the ocean floor, satellites spin above our heads, computer servers housed in buildings from New York City to Nauru. Like the soldier who slew Archimedes with a mere sword, so too could an armed militia take control of the peak development of Western civilization, our platonic realm, the internet. The world of the internet, abstracted from the old world of brute atoms, longed for independence. But states and their friends moved to control this new world. By controlling the physical underpinnings, the state, like an army on an oil well, or customs agents extracting bribes at the border, would soon leverage its control of the physical space to gain control over the platonic realm. It would prevent the independence we had dreamed of, and then, squatting on the fiber optic lines and around the satellite ground stations, it would go on to intercept the information flows of the new world. In essence, every human, economic, and political relationship embraced it. The state would leach into the veins and arteries of our new society, gobbling up every relationship expressed and communicated, every web page read, every message sent, every thought Googled, and then stored this knowledge. Billions of interceptions a day, undreamed of power, in the vast top secret warehouses forever. It would go on to mine and mine again this treasure, the collective, private, intellectual output of humanity. With it ever more sophisticated search and pattern recognition finding algorithms enhancing the treasure and maximizing the power imbalance between the interceptors and the world of the intercepted. And then the state would reflect what it had learned back into the physical world, to start wars, to target drones, to manipulate UN committees and trade deals, to do favors in the vast connected network of industries, insiders, and cronies. We discovered something. Our hope against total domination. A hope with courage, insight, and solidarity we could use to resist. A strange property of the physical world that we live in. The universe believes in encryption. It is easier for information to be encrypted than decrypted. We say we could use this strange property to create laws of the new world, to abstract a new platonic realm from which the base fortifying our space behind a cryptographic veil, to create new lands barred from those who control physical reality, because to follow us into the world would require infinite resources. In this manner, to declare independence, scientists in the Manhattan Project discovered that the universe permitted the construction of a nuclear bomb. It was not an obvious conclusion. Perhaps nuclear weapons were not within the physical laws. However, the universe believes in the atomic bombs and in nuclear reactions. This phenomenon the universe blesses, like salt, seas, and stars. Similarly, the universe, our physical universe, has a property that makes it possible for an individual or group of individuals reliably, automatically, and even without knowing, encipher something, so that all resources and all the political will of the strongest superpowers on Earth may not decipher it. The path of the encipher between the people and can mesh together to create regions free from the coercive force of the outer state, free from mass interception, free from state control. In this way, people can oppose their will to that which is fully mobilized and planned. Encryption is the embodiment of the laws of physics. It does not listen to the cluster of states, even the transnational surveillance of so easy. It is obvious that the world and its coordinates, but somehow the universe smiles upon encryption. While nuclear weapons states can exert unlimited violence over even millions of individuals, strong cryptography means that a state, even by exercising unlimited violence, cannot violate the integrity of the strong cryptography can resist the unlimited application of violence. No amount of coercive force will ever solve a mass problem. But it can take this strange fact about the world and build it up to the basic emancipatory building blocks of the independence mankind in the platonic realm of the internet shares. And as societies merge with the internet, that could liberty then be reflected back into the physical realm to redefine the state. Recall that states are systems that where and how coercive force is consistently applied. The question of how much coercive force can seep into the platonic realm of the internet in the physical world is answered by cryptography and the cypherpunk ideas. The state merges with the internet and the future of our civilization becomes a secure union. We must redefine our relationships to force. If we do not, the universality of the internet will merge with global humanity into one mass grid of surveillance and mass control. We must raise this alarm.
Hey, Jason.
Rufus. Hi.
So we have the list about today.
Thank you for all the support.
We are in
holler,
Washington, D.C.
Got it.
And it may be that some of you know someone in the intelligence community. It may be that some of you may be someone in the intelligence community. And that's okay, because you can be a whistleblower. All of this information that comes across your purview that tells you exactly what our government is doing, that they do not want us to know, you can help educate us, and we would encourage you to do that. You can be a whistleblower. It is possible. Please do so. If anyone would like to come up and say a word or two, now is the time before we start to move towards the Trump Hotel.
So guys, as you can see, we're here. We finally made it. Thank you, Flick Off. I appreciate that super chat, my friend. I've set up cameras. I mean, we're looking at a low turnout. I'm not gonna lie. I know the president is not here. He is in India, but we're gonna be here over the next several days trying to talk to anybody that will listen, because this is an extremely important subject. And you know, the Action4Assange crew continues to do stellar work and get out there. I want to go talk to, actually shake Andrew's hand. First time I'm actually meeting Andrew. Andrew, how are you, sir?
Oh, I'm wonderful. How are you, Jason?
You know, I'm doing. What time did you get out there?
Got a whistle for you. We've been out here since about noon. I got out here Saturday starting the prep work and all that kind of stuff with a couple of us.
Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. So tell everybody what we're about to go do.
So we just finished up our speeches at Whitehouse. We're about to march down to Trump Tower, do something similar there. Hopefully Medea Benjamin will meet us there to give some speeches too, the organizer for Code Pink.
Sure.
And then we're going to be moving on to the DOJ for more speeches out front of there, just to let Bill Barr know how corrupt he is. And then,
Very corrupt.
And then after that, there's actually a couple different protests going on that we're not organizing, but we're going to participate in.
Okay.
There's some climate actions that have counter protesters up on Capitol Hill, and Women Against Military Madness have an anti-torture event today as well that we're going to try to attend.
Okay, where is the anti-torture event?
I got to check my email.
Okay, fair enough. I heard that Lee Camp was here earlier.
Yes, Lee Camp stopped by. You probably missed him by about 15 minutes.
Okay, did he end up speaking over here
He
as
did
well?
not, he did not.
He just came over and saw the crowd?
Yeah, we were doing interviews and all that fun stuff beforehand.
Excellent. Well, this is our first kick-in, and we're going to keep going live. I'm going to be talking to people. I just set up my camera gear, but I'm going to have to tear it down.
We can help you move.
No, that's fine. I mean, I made it so it's walkable, and I actually got parking like right around the corner.
Okay,
so
cool.
I'm extremely excited. I'm going to cut the feed for now. Once we start marching, I'm going to start streaming again. Guys, thumbs this video up, subscribe, and share. And remember, anything's possible. Harvey Weinstein just got convicted of rape, and they threw him in jail. He didn't get to go home and wait for sentencing.
I didn't hear about
Yes,
that.
they convicted him.
Good.
And I'll tell you what, they didn't convict him on the sexual predator charge, but they did convict him on 2 charges, and the judge said, no, jail, and that's, I didn't think it was possible.
Right.
I like being wrong when I'm wrong like that. Right. So we're going to be back on the fly. We're going to talk to Steve, Christy, and a whole lot of other people. Dak Rouleau is here, and many others. I want to thank you again, Andrew. I'm going to go live in a bit. Thank you, brother.
Absolutely.